This is Adventure for Life. I'm Joel. Day 3, week 3 of the accessories review. What I'm going to do today is show you some of the ancillary accessory pieces that I got for the Rhino Rack Pioneer cargo carrier system. And so let's open up the back of the Grenadier and let's just do a little unboxing here and take a look at what I bought. And basically what I did was I just said, hey, I don't know what I need. I'm gonna buy a little of this and a little of that and see what happens, because you never know necessarily what you're gonna need. First thing I'm gonna show you, well, let's go up here again. I'm gonna get up there on the rack in a minute. I showed you last week, I got a car top carrier for the tire, and I got a 6th tire just because I wanted to. What I'm planning on doing is rotating these two, the tire that's on the back of the vehicle on the door, and also that tire up there, just putting them in my rotation so that I'm rotating 6 tires in and out whenever I go in for maintenance. I think there may be an issue with the tire pressure management system, so I'll have to get that figured out. Let's start with, obviously I told you before about getting the recovery kit for the from Red Winches, and so I'm not going to go through that again because I covered that before. Got me a shovel, a Rhino Rack shovel. Got a Rhino Rack strap system. I mean, how many sets of straps do I have? I don't know, a bunch, but I decided I'd get these just because they supposedly go with the Rhino Rack, although I know I could use anything. What is this? Oh, this is the holder, for the utility holder for the shovel. I think would also work potentially for a high lift jack, but I got a separate thing for the high lift jack. So I'm going to unbox all this stuff in a minute. I'm not going to make you watch me do that, and then we'll see what we got. Okay, here is the high lift jack mount. And by the way, I said this last week, I've never owned a Rhino Rack. I've never owned a rooftop carrier, so this is all brand new to me, and we're going to see how easy it is for a novice. Okay, so here is the rack for a max track system to help you get out of mud and sand and that kind of thing. I don't have the max track units yet, at max tracks units yet, but I plan on getting some. Here are just some rings, and I got 2 sets of them. There's 4 in each box, as you can see. I got 2 sets of these rings because you never know what you're going to need to hold down or whatnot. And it looks like, I'm not sure, this next thing, the cargo corner brackets, it's very possible that they don't come with the screws or the eye bolts that you need to hold these down and that you would use to strap something in place. And so I may need those, 1 set of those for this. Got a lockable cable, and we'll see what I use that for, or what I think it's, hopefully most of my use of this is going to be off-road when I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I don't have to worry about people stealing it, but you never know. And then finally, I got this load holder. It looks like all it does is kind of hold things in place. I don't know what the use of this is. Now, I didn't know this, but Ineos marketed all this stuff and they sold all this stuff as part of the purchase of the vehicle. Now, they weren't all available when I took delivery of my vehicle, but I bought all this stuff through the dealer, through Ineos, because I didn't know that it wasn't their stuff. And obviously I've learned that this is all Rhino Rack's stuff. The shovel, the car top carrier, I don't know that the light bar is, but maybe it is. The thing holding the tire on, all this miscellaneous stuff, it's all Rhino Rack. So let's talk about pricing for a second. I looked up a couple of these things on the internet. on Rhino Rack's website. I compared it to what I paid the dealership, and honestly, it's maybe 10% premium or something like that. And so for me to be able to get it all from one place, and because I was ignorant and didn't know that it was Rhino Rack stuff, now going down the road, when I buy other Rhino Rack stuff, I'm not going to, you know, go back to the dealership and buy it. I'll buy some from somebody who's a distributor for Rhino Rack, and the people that I'm buying my my rooftop tent from are distributors for Rhino Rack, and so I'll probably just buy my stuff from them or buy it direct off the website. But again, because I didn't know what I was doing and didn't know, you know, everything that I know now, I just bought it from the dealership and, you know, figured I'd learn the process. And, you know, maybe it cost me an extra $100 to get all this stuff from the dealership than it would have if I'd got it off the website or whatnot. What do I care? I've got it. There certainly are some other pieces that I think I'm going to buy that will help attach things to the rack, but I'll worry about that later. Okay, I'll see you up on top of the roof. About an hour has gone by, maybe a little bit more. I have assembled all of the pieces. I have disassembled what was holding the tire on, and I'm going to just go do a quick rundown of the pieces that I haven't installed any of these, you know, they're all loose or whatever. I just wanted to get a feel for myself. Obviously, the exact positioning of these things is going to have to wait until I have the actual stuff that I'm going to put on here. My high lift jack, the rooftop tent is obviously going to cover, you know, a fair amount of the space here. One of the things I'm going to try to do is find out if I can mount that rooftop tent as far forward here as I can. You see this, this is where you slide the attachments in to the Pioneer rack, and there is this gap right here. I'm going to see if I can hook the rooftop tent that far forward in there and have it, you know, hanging out this way. Obviously, I don't want to have to see it from inside the vehicle, but this rack again is supposed to be 100 inches long. I probably ought to measure it. And the rooftop tent, I think, is maybe 80 inches long. So that leaves me 20 inches. And so every inch is going to count. I mean, this tire is whatever, 32, something like that. Am I going to put it way close to the back and have part of it hanging off the end? Maybe. You know, time will tell on that. Anyway, let's run through some of these pieces real quick, and so you'll get an idea. So let's start with, you know, these tie-down rings. So that's easy. I mean, I got a bunch of them. I got 8 of them, and you can slide them around, put them anywhere you want to, and just put a strap on there and hold something down. These are for the Max Track, so you actually just, you know, unscrew that, slide the Max Track down on here, position these the right distance, and, you know, screw these back down and hold them in place depending on how many Max Trax units you have. This is, and I said earlier I didn't think I had the tie-down rings for these 4 squares, but sure enough they included it. So all you do is position this thing where you want it, you know, tighten this down, and then you can run a strap, you know, from here over to there, wherever you want to actually hold the thing down. But you've got the corner brackets in place to make sure whatever it is, a box, a Pelican case, something like that, is not sliding all over the place. I went ahead and took the tire attachment off because I wanted to see how it worked. And the way this thing works is, and you know, that tire weighs a bunch. So the way it's done is you actually slide this down here, turn it, and then tighten that down. And so you can see, again, that tire's heavy, so they want to make sure there's plenty of meat down there to hold this thing on. So you're actually using 2 different of the tie-down tracks, and my guess is, you know, instead of putting it here in the middle, you're better off putting it by one of these cross members. Then These load holder, I never thought that that was that great, and you know, supposedly you lift this up and that tightens it. Again, I haven't tightened it enough. You can run a strap through here. You know, I would think they come in packages of 2. I would think you need at least 4 of them to do any good. I won't be surprised if I don't use those much, if not at all. High lift jack. So you can hook a high lift jack onto this thing, and these are the attachments that you do that with. And so you loosen this, raise this up, and actually sit the high lift jack down on that bolt. Let me do it real quick. Come on. You lift this up, you put the high lift jack, you know, one of the holes on the high lift jack over that, put this back down over it, and then, you know, tighten that. And that's how, and of course it's the exact same thing on that side, that's how you hold the high lift jack on. Interestingly, both with the Max Trax gizmo and the high lift jack, you can put them on going front to back or side to side. Finally, there is the shovel or utility instrument holder, and this is pretty cool. I believe you can mount some of this stuff on the side of this with a different attachment, but you know, you pinch that and that comes off, and then depending on how big the thing that you're putting in here is, you can tighten that down. Now your shovel, you know, if I had this tightened down, now your shovel is not going anywhere, and it's not going to rattle, it's not going to make a bunch of noise, and I think that's what the theory is on that. Anyway, those are the accessory holders that I bought. I wanted to buy a little bit of everything. Should mention these straps, you know, I don't know what I paid for them, but I wouldn't give you 2 cents for them. I'm not complaining, but there's not even a, I mean, I want ratchet straps. I want something that sure enough, you know, is held on. This is one of those deals where you feed the other end through that thing, and because of friction and whatever, it holds it on there tight in theory. Well, every one of those I've ever had in the past, and maybe these are better, but I doubt it. Every one of those I've ever had in the past, little teeth in there wear out. And, you know, before long, it's no good. Should point out a couple other things. They did supply this little tool, which is nice to be able to stick in some of the attachments and tighten things down. So I don't know if it fits in this one or not. It probably does. But, you know, it's nice that they supply a tool, and this isn't a torque wrench, but the fact that this is flexible, you know, is basically saying, hey, don't tighten it too much. They did, like this wrench, or Allen wrench, they're all the same size, so that's nice. I should also point out that I got keys, and you can lock this device with that. You can lock something else I got, has a lock on it. Anyway, the good news is that you can lock and secure some of this stuff. The bad news is that, oh, the key went for this cable, which I didn't put out. Well, guess what? The same key that works for the cable works for this utility holder. So it appears there's some kind of universality to the keys. Anyway, enough on that. Next week, I'm hoping I have my rooftop tent and can tell you about that. See you then.